If you're considering hiring a contractor to recover your home, make sure you get your money's worth. First, check with your insurance agent to see what's covered. Second, ask for financial aid if it's available. It can be available from local, federal, and state authorities. For information on financial aid, contact your emergency manager, local American Red Cross, or your extension agent. Third, check your contractor's references and see if they check out. And finally, be aware of scam artists. Often people come into a community right after a disaster promising services they'll never deliver. Don't get caught. To get an idea of how to work with a contractor, we contacted Dan Wilnow and Anthony Steinke of Flood Control. They helped out in the Indiana floods of 2008 and 2009. They're going to go through the steps they go through and show us the tools they use. They're on location at a home in Indiana that was flooded. Dan, tell us what happened.
The homeowner has suffered from a sump pump failure. The water's come up and went up probably about a foot up on the wall. The water level was probably about 4 inches up off the ground.
Dan, what are the first steps you take with the homeowner?
We just met with the homeowner, and typically how we do it is we'll introduce ourselves, verify our insurance and our certifications, verify whether she does have insurance coverage, and at that point we'll do an assessment of the house. We've gone downstairs into the home. We've verified whether there was 2 inches of water. Right now we're going to work on extracting some of that water and disinfecting. Before that, we need to move out the contents, do a content inventory on what damages there might be. Some of that we'll be doing with a written inventory and also a picture inventory.
A good contractor will have several tools and products to clean your home, as Dan and Anthony show us.
Some of the things that you need to prepare for that is what we call in the industry is PPE, personal protection equipment. Tyvek suits, respiratory masks, either half masks or full masks, or N95s, goggles in case something splashes up and gets into your eyes, and also the environment. How safe is the environment? Whether the water has reached up to an electrical box. You don't want to be plugging in on anything as you're standing on top of wet carpet. Fallen debris, how high did the water get? So some of those things are the things that you need to be obviously first aware of. Once you've gone to that and you've determined what needs to be done in the environment, then you can start going into the personal protection and the tools.
All right, this is a protimeter. This will tell us the type of damage and how high the damage has seeped up on the walls and what is actually damaged by the water. This is called a hydrometer. This will tell us what's the humidity, the temperature, and the air quality of the area that we are working in, and also the outside air. So this is the protimeter that we're going to be using to determine what water damage areas are. Aside from the visible water damage, this is going to show us the areas that water has wicked up that we cannot see. I can also change this so I can make it penetrating. You can see it's picking up moisture inside the studs.
So some of the things you need to also be aware of when working with professionals. One, verifying their certification, their IICRC certification. Once you verify that, some of the tools that the professionals will be using are some of these actually. A fogger. What this will do is eliminate any airborne particles and make it a safe environment for the homeowner and also the workers to be working in. A full-face respirator in case of dust or airborne particles such as mold and such.
Some of the chemicals that we use to clean and disinfect the areas that we're working in are these two chemicals right here. This is called Microban. This is an antimicrobial disinfectant that kills off any type of microorganisms that might be harmful to anybody or in the air, even the air. This will kill and prevent any type of mold damage. When using this chemical, it's very important to use a full-face respirator like such that has a P100 filters on them. This chemical is made out of tea tree oil and hydrogen peroxide. When it gets on the wood, it boils up the mold, brings it to the surface, and you have to back the mold right off. The tea tree oil then seals the wood to prevent any type of further mold damage. After we create a safe and clean work environment, these are some of the equipment that we use to dry out the structure. This is a LGR, low-grain refrigerant dehumidifier. This will bring the relative humidity down to about 20% within the structure. This is a centrifugal air mover. This will move the air around so a dehumidifier can suck up the moisture and get it out of the building.
Okay, so we've entered the basement here where the water has come in. We've already gone in and set up negative air, which is why I do not have a respirator on right now, which has made it a little bit safer of an environment. So So we're going to go ahead and proceed disinfecting, removing some of the contents and cleaning.
Right behind me I have Carlos here. He's sweeping and bagging up the affected content and debris that's on the ground. Now what they're going to do is they're going to shovel this up and they're going to do this thing called goosenecking. What that is, they're going to grab up the top, they're going to tape it closed, and this way it doesn't prevent any secondary damage and cross-contaminate the rest of the house.
So some of the things we need to be aware of, and really are what are the most important things when you're coming onto a loss, is determining how it happened, which is one, and the type of loss, what type of water it is that you're dealing with. Sometimes it's clean water, it came from a clean source, whether it's a broken pipe, or a sump pump, which would be actually a category type 2 water loss, or a sewage loss, which can be hazardous to your health.